O'Connell, and I'm introducing us here. We're the Feisty, Feckin, Fulltime Feminists. There's more of us than there are today here. In fact, we could say we'd probably have the ability to have hundreds of people, women in this particular group. But the Feisties has its origin in a number of things. Wendy Davis over there and myself were part of the Trades Council Women's Subcommittee Choir from the late 1970s through to the 80s, and a lot of the songs we're singing come from the work, the political work we did as singers, because really that's it, of that period. But we also have with us women who actually have sung in a number of different choirs and also have the same sort of kaupapa as we do. So we have Sue Hurst here, we have Claire Louise McCurdy, we have Anne Russell and Marie Russell. And Marie and Anne have written a song that we sing today, and they sing independently. I kind of think that sometimes Wendy and I might think that we're not the singers, that these people are the singers and we're the shouters, aren't they? Really, more than anything else. So most of you will probably be aware of the history of the women's groups within the union movement who used song to get across some sharp messages and also to provide solidarity with each other. So the first song I'm going to sing is Don't Be Too Polite, Girls. And that was really, it was such a, I got it out of the 1975 Australian Builders Labourers Song. And it was one of our favourites. It was a theme song, and it was written by Glenn Tomasetti to the traditional Australian tune Flash Jack from Gundagai. So you'll recognise it. Now the idea today is not just for us, we're not performing for you, we are leading you in song, okay? So forget about people saying, oh I can't sing, sing. So Anne is very luckily going to give us a note.
Oh yes, I'll give a few strums in.
Give us a few strums and then we'll go for it. Don't be too polite, girls, don't be too polite. Show a little fight, girls, show a little fight. Don't be fearful of offending in case you get the sack. Just recognise your value and we won't look back. I sew up shirts and trousers in the clothing trade. Since men don't do the job, I can't ask for higher pay. The people at the top seldom offer something more, unless the people underneath are walking out the door. Don't be too polite, girls, don't be too polite. Show a little fight, girls, show a little fight. Don't be fearful of offending in case you get the sack. Just recognise your value and we won't look back. They say a man needs more to feed his children and his wife. But what are the needs of a woman who leads a double working life? When the whistle blows for knock-off, it's not her time for fun. She goes home to do the job that's never paid and never done. Different words. Don't be too afraid, girls, don't be too afraid. We're clearly underpaid, girls, clearly underpaid. Though equal pay in principle is every woman's right. To turn that into practice, we must show a little fight. We can't afford to pay, you say the masters and they're off. That woman says, just cut your coat according to your cloth. If the economy won't stand it, then here's your answer, boys. Cut out the wild extravagance on the new war toys. All among the bull, girls, all among the bull. Keep your hearts full, girls, keep your hearts full. What good is a man as a doormat for following a heel? It's not their balls we're after, it's a fair square deal. Maybe it was their balls we were after. It's a fair square deal.
Pay equity has been a huge issue for a very, very long time. As far back as 1892, that's 139 years ago, Kate Shepherd of suffrage fame was writing of the unfairness of two rates of pay for the same work, merely because one of the workers is a woman. Over the decades, thousands of women have taken part in this struggle, petitioning politicians, putting out leaflets, marching, and working within the union movement. A broad coalition of women's groups had some real success in the 1960s and 70s, with the Government Servants Equal Pay Act in 1960, and then sometime later, the Private Sector Equal Pay Act of 1972. Both these did make a difference in decreasing the gap between women's and men's pay rates. But by the 1980s, employers' manipulation of the award system to reclassify jobs ensured that the gap was increasing. In 1984, the Clerical Workers Union started a national campaign challenging employers over equal pay for work of equal value. In 1986, they took a test case to the arbitration court. They lost. The judges said that the employer's claim that identifying a comparable male-dominated occupation as a mechanism to increase the pay of a female-dominated occupation had been applicable in the early stages of the Equal Pay Act. But from then on, equal pay was to apply only when men and women were doing exactly the same job. However, the judge's decision energised all those who were campaigning for a new act, for pay equity, for equal pay, for work of equal value. And by the end of the decade, by the end of the 80s, they'd succeeded. The Employment Equity Act, which sought to redress past and present discrimination experienced by women in the labour market and included pay equity, was announced in November 1989. The Act was passed in July 1990, became effective in October. It lasted 2 whole months. Repealing that Act was the first action of the incoming National Government.
As you would know, there's been more of a story, but we thought we'd just tell you what happened in the 80s in this area. And in the 80s, well, in fact, it was, I think, 1989, wasn't it? The first New Zealand Council of Trade Unions Women's Conference came, and our social, which we entitled An Evening of Stress Incontinence, in February 1989. So our aim was to continue to make sure that equal pay was firmly on the agenda of the new organisation. So this is a little ditty, because they are ditties, is that the right word for them? It's not me diminishing them, but it means it's easier to sing since we're using older music. So it's a long time to pay equity. As our youngest member of the group said, she had never even heard of that particular tune. Most of us my age know it's a long way to Tipperary. Yeah. So think of it, yeah, good old Tipperary. So here we go.
It's a long way to pay equity. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to pay equity, but it's worth it, this I know. So long paying equity, farewell lower pay. It's a long way to pay equity, but we will get there.
And again.
It's a long way to pay equity. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to pay equity, but it's worth it, this I know. So long paying equity, farewell lower pay. It's a long way to pay equity, but we will get there.
Optimist to the end. In this period, in the 80s as well, was, remember Ruth Richardson, how could we forget? She entered Parliament in 1981 as a member of Muldoon's national government. She resisted the Labour women's calls for a childcare service for all women in Parliament, But when her daughter, Lucy, was born in 1982, she required a room to be set aside for her for breastfeeding her baby. So this song comes out of that particular scenario. And again, we use another Australian song, Waltzing Matilda. You'll know it.
Washing the dishes, great heaps of nappies. I've got a nanny to do that for me. And while she's minding Lucy, I'm sitting up in Parliament, bashing the mums who are poorer than me. Cut off the dole and the old age pension. Give up your babies to rich folk like me. 'Cause if you're not a farmer, you don't deserve a subsidy. You'll come and work as a nanny for me. Give up your babies, give up your babies. You don't deserve them if you're not rich like me. So adopt out your baby and go back to the labour force. You'll come and work as a nanny for me.
You might remember that actually she managed in the first budget of the new national government in 1991 cut all benefits, including the domestic purpose benefit, by $20 each payment. It's never really been restored.
Our next song was written by feminists in Auckland in the early 1970s. In the 80s, it became a favourite of the Women's Subcommittee choir here in Wellington. The lyrics were aimed not just at general sexism, but also more specifically at the attitudes of some more backward male unionists the choir members knew, meaning those who didn't support women getting access to the higher paid jobs generally reserved for men, such as being on the chain at the meatworks and the so-called skilled jobs in factories and car assembly plants. So members of the choir from that time say that the song was also a favourite because they got to say fuckers, a word which was not used as freely then as it is now. The song describes some of the ways women were organising at that time. Feminists now are not likely to put out leaflets and pamphlets and are more likely to use social media. But many of the concerns expressed in this song are still live issues today. Hey you fuckers.
Very catchy tune.
Had a revelation the other day. Now is the time to get up and say da 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 da. Hey you fuckers, get off of my back. What you're doing is just so slack. Got no time to muck around. We gotta get this revolution off the ground. We've won the votes but not our rights. Now is the time
that was written originally by Carol King and Jerry Goffin. But Wendy and I adapted it. We both actually remember the occasion very well. We were sitting in a Chinese restaurant just opposite the town hall and thought we've got to write something about the Ocean Beach Freezing Works. It was taken to court by 3 women who had been refused the opportunity to become mutton butchers. In 1979, the Human Rights Commission ruled in their favour, but the union refused to back down. In 1980, the case went before the Equal Opportunities Tribunal, which ruled that workers must be judged purely on their ability to do the work. Ted Miller, who appears in the song, was the secretary of the Freezing Workers Union at the Ocean Beach Works, which opposed the women's claim. So we sat down before the Federation of Labour conference. You have to say Federation of Labour, you can't say FOL, you have to say it in the Jim Knox style. Federation of Labour conference, and said, let's do this and let's kind of stick it to them. Why not? Song is so powerful in that way. So Ted actually was in the audience, and we sang the song directly to him. And we were a little bit on edge, but actually the audience loved it. It's wonderful that, isn't it? How they always like having the piss taken of somebody else. So, chains.
Chains, they won't let me work on the chain, and it's because they can't see. Oh, the chain needs me, yeah.
I want to tell you, Teddy Miller, about that meat. I want to put my knife in it, and I can't wait to get there on the chain.
They won't let me work on the chain, and it's because they can't see. Oh, the chain needs me, yeah.
The girls went to the commission and won their case. Both the bosses and the union were left with egg on their face.
Chains, now they let me work on the chains, and it's because they had to see. Oh, the chain needs me, yeah.
My apologies. So my apologies to Anne, because I'm so used to singing without accompaniment, which is much easier because no one knows you're singing the wrong tune there or the wrong note. And anyway, you manage. We manage.
Okay, now another song, I'm a Little Firefighter, first performed at Federation of Labour Conference in 1980. I'm a Little Firefighter was a comment on the challenge some women faced on entering so-called male occupations. Anne Barry applied to join the fire service in the late 1970s, but her initial application was declined. She took her case to the Equal Opportunities Commission, the Human Rights Commission, and to members of Parliament. Finally, she was accepted and went on to a distinguished career in the fire service for more than 20 years. Sung to a familiar tune, Flick the Little Fire Engine, composed by Robert Dan, our words were written by Teresa O'Connell, then with the Clerical Workers Union, and the late Penny Bright of the Engineers Union. Please join in.
I'm a little firefighter, Sue is my name. They won't let me put out fires, isn't that a shame? Someday they'll be bright enough to recognize our claim. When there is a fire, they'll shout, quick, get the girls to help us, get the girls to help us, even though they lack a dick.
And again.
I'm a little firefighter, Sue is my name. They won't let me put out fires, isn't that a shame? Someday they'll be bright enough to recognize our claim. When there's a fire, they'll shout, quick,
you know that women weren't allowed to, is that if there was a fire and there was no water, men could piss on it. I'm sorry, Mum, my mother would say, you've got to bring it down, don't you know? Lift it up. We lift it up now to the whole damn rose bush. Now again, this is a song that you would know, in the tune anyway, Bread and Roses, because it became quite an anthem. It was written by James Oppenheim and it was set to music by Mimi Farina. I first sang it myself in the late 70s on an abortion rights rally, and it did become such a well-known anthem. New words were written by Pinky Agnew, who is unfortunately not able to be here today, on the occasion of an equal pay claim within a union. Strange. The Bank Officers Union. Yes, unions as employers could be just as resistant as other employers to women's demand for equal pay. So this song takes the piss out of some of the attitudes we encountered in some people.
As we go marching, marching, we battle with the men, for they are ranked against us, though the enemy's the same. Our grandmothers had warned us that the men would still oppose us. We shout to them in chorus, up your noses, up your noses. As we go marching, marching, our victory in sight, we fight for equal wages, and as we all unite, we need no men to lead us in our fight for bread and roses. As we march through history's pages, up their noses, up their noses. As we go marching, marching in our fight for equal pay, we hold aloft our banners and we hear the men folk say, we'd help you if we could, but it divides the working classes. And women are retorting, up your asses, up your asses. Up your asses, up your asses.
Everyone here has heard of the Working Class Charter? Yeah, it's really good to know, because that's one of those documents that was disappeared by the rise of the neoliberal agenda. It's very nice to be in a group that actually knows about it. Basically, as you all know, it was a Bill of Rights for all women. And in 1980, it was adopted as policy by the Federation of Labour and by the Labour Party. It had taken union women half a decade of campaigning to achieve that, but now they could turn their energies to adoption of the policies in their own unions. But they continued to be opposed by a few individuals in the union hierarchy and by some small, vociferous and very well-resourced groups who objected to what they called this communist document. They particularly disliked Clause 8 about flexible hours and part-time work, and Clause 15, which reads, seeks education and birth control advice to be freely available to all people. Legal, financial, social and medical impediments to safe abortion, contraception and sterilisation to be removed. In the tradition the 1980 singers are following, and recognising how partial the implementation of the Working Women's Charter has been, Marie and Anne Russell wrote these new words to the tune of She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain.
Reproductive rights are coming, yes they are, yes they are. Reproductive rights are coming, yes they are. We are raising up our voices in defence of women's rights.
wrote that as they were coming around the mountain. Is that right?
Personally, I feel a lot of the multi-syllabic rhymes was inspired by Tom Lehrer.
Okay, so here we go with another equal pay. It seems we're sort of pushing this one a lot, but of course it was a huge issue in the 80s because, as it said earlier, the Clerical Workers Union, which I was part of, ran a huge campaign, which I'm wearing a badge, Value Women's Work, about equal pay. It's often forgotten, but that was a lot of the early work done at that stage. This song, Mary's Paycheck, Mary's Boy Child, that's where it came from. It came from Pinky and you and I at that stage became Glory Box in 1990, and we wrote this song. So sing along. Long time ago in 72, when the Equal Pay Act came, Mary's paycheck was to show the same as Harvey Joe. Hark now, hear the women rage, listen to what we say. We're sick to death of low-paid work, it's time we made them pay. Seize the banks and stock exchange, listen to what we say. That man will live to rue the day if we don't get equal pay. 20 years on, Mary still had less, for they said she's not worth more. Where was Mary's paycheck when the factory closed its door? Hark now, hear the women rage, listen to what we say. The government has sold our jobs, the business rules the day. Seize the banks and stock exchange, listen to what we say. That man will live to rue the day if we don't get equal pay. Now here we are, many decades on, another pay law comes its way. Let's hope that we get equal pay before Mary passes away. Hark now, hear the women rage, listen to what we say. We'll not take less than what we're worth, and we're worth more and more every day. Seize the banks and stock exchange, listen to what we say. That man will live to rue the day if we don't get equal pay. Here's hoping, eh? Here's hoping.
Our last song is the anthem written by Pat Humphries, an American singer-songwriter in 1984, Never Turning Back. Some of us know it from the singing of the Australian feminist Judy Small. And various verses have been added and subtracted along the way, depending on the singer. That's the folk way. The verse we're going to sing, We're Going to Reach Across Our Borders, is a response to the worldwide refugee crisis. So please join in.
Just in case you thought that we were trying to breach COVID. We're going to keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're going to keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never Work for change together.
Work for change together. Work for change together. Never turning back. Never turning back.
We're gonna keep on walking forward.
Keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Thank you all.